Hello scrappers and planet lovers, Tin Man here with another video. So a great pickup today, found both of these older style Panasonic vacuum cleaners at the same stop. Just goes to show that you can still find old vacuum cleaners and they are an excellent source of scrap material. However, I do also want to say I pick up all vacuum cleaners. I have had some of my fellow scrapper friends comment that they no longer pick up newer ones. They will just cut the cord, leave the rest, because they believe that the inner motor has been replaced from copper motor windings to aluminum windings, and that could be true for some. However, you can't tell just from looking at it. They are, even if they were aluminum, the core does have an armature that is copper. The motor itself, the shell, is tin, and tin prices right now going for 16 cents a pound. That does add up, and it's better than nothing. So don't pass up vacuum cleaners. They do have some great components inside of them as well as different hoses, as well as your power head extensions. And I do have full breakdown videos on all of those items. So I will include the link to those in my description if you're interested. But what I want to do is tackle this one today. They do not work. It had a sign on it that said broken. I have had several people comment on older vacuum cleaners that I've posted that I could sell these online. And it does depend on if they're workable, how long you want to hold on to them. Because these are broken, that is why I'm scrapping it. So very easy to take apart. Gonna open it right now, show you what's inside, and more importantly, show you how to separate it properly and maximize your profit and divert as much of this away from the landfill as possible. So gonna start here. What I love about these older styles is, first thing, the hose extension or the arm here is magnetic. So this whole thing is gonna be tin. I don't have to remove the plastic at the top, and this will go all the way down. So right now, 16 cents a pound for this. I have already removed the bags out of here. You know, there's sometimes when you have vacuum cleaners, they're dusty, a lot of debris and stink or smell inside. So I have already removed it. These both have inner panels. They're empty, you can see. Unfortunately, this is plastic. I am gonna have to throw this in the garbage. But the rest of this arm, it goes all the way down to here. So that is gonna be a nice, heavy arm. And I will include the weights in my comment section for these. So gonna start tackling a lot of screws here. Gonna get these first. As well, as mentioned, my one scrapper friend who always just cuts the appliance wire. These are an excellent score. I'm not gonna deny that. It's an easy, quick money maker. And what I love about these ones is they are heavy, very long. There's about 1.5 pounds here. And at a scrapyard, this is gonna be classified as 40% appliance wire. Inside, you can see 2 strands of copper that are coated, as well as an outer coating. And this is right now 40% appliance wire, going for $1.50 a pound in London, Ontario. So an excellent price. It does also have some nice brass plug-ins. I do remove these for the brass. I get $3.17 a pound for these. Some people leave them on for the weight. And I have had other people comment, should I strip vacuum cleaner wire? In my opinion, no. I actually find when you have an outer layer, especially if it's thick, you are actually losing money as well as time. And I do have a full breakdown video and experiment on vacuum cleaner cords, as well as other cords if they're worth stripping or not. So I will include the links to those in my description. But nice heavy cord here. Both of them are gonna have it. As well, sometimes you wanna make sure you look at the hose. If I put a magnet to it, sometimes this will have a nice tin coil that goes all the way down it. So that actually can be thrown right into your tin if it is. This one is plastic, unfortunately. But no matter, still has some goodies that I'm going to get right now. I want to get to that motor. So I'm going to just turn this right now, get these few screws out. Again, they're not hard to open, but they can be, as mentioned, a little smelly. So you do want to make sure that you have proper ventilation. I have gone ahead and cleaned this somewhat off camera. So that is kind of helps minimize the smell. But got a couple more screws here. Got to lay it down so I can see all the screws. But this is going to have some really nice motor inside. And I'm going to say that this motor is going to be copper. And while I'm on the topic, I would say I've done an experiment on newer vacuum cleaners. Out of 10 that I find, maybe 5 of them or 4 of them are aluminum, or so it does all depend on the brand. I've had some where it's been the same type of vacuum cleaner. One has been copper windings, one's been aluminum. So again, I can't tell just on the brand or the make. So I pick them up all for sure. But here is my motor. And the nice thing is you can see this wire goes all the way up this arm, okay? And I'm actually just gonna cut it here just to slow it down. I will open that up later, but it's gonna go right to my on and off switch. Okay, just gonna put this off to the back. But beautiful tin there, very easy to get to that. It only took me a couple seconds. Here is my motor. Want to get rid of this because it is a little dusty. And gonna do the scratch test to see if this winding is copper or aluminum. So I just want to cut this first. Here we go. Take a file. If I cut this and it reveals a metallic look underneath, it's going to be aluminum. But as you can see there, that is copper. So that's going to be number 2 copper. And currently this is going for $4.30 a pound in London, Ontario. Copper continues to be our scrapper's gold. So I will open this in a sec. But I do also want to address this wire. Different from my appliance wire. This is the inner wire. And what's interesting about this is you can see there are 2 strands of copper wire there, only 1 coating. This is actually a higher value. This is going for 60% appliance wire, and currently right now going for $2.55 a pound. I do have to make sure I cut off these ends here. So these ends have to go as well. Your appliance wire, if it has a plug end, they have to go. But again, this is $2.55 a pound. I make sure I separate it as I go along for my 40%. So great value, $1.05 more for this. So that is nice to find some of this in there as well. And again, just goes to show you never know what you're gonna find. So inside, there is a little motor. Sometimes this doesn't have the power head. So I'm thinking the rest of this is actually just gonna be plastic. But I'm just gonna quickly look to see, again, some of your power heads, extensions. Yeah, there's a little piece of tin here that I'm gonna get. But other than that, the rest of this shell is gonna be plastic and garbage. So there is garbage in there is plastic, but make sure at least I get this pole and my money maker, this motor here. So I'm gonna take this apart right now. All I'm gonna do to start this is I'm gonna hit this shell with a hammer to open it. I'm gonna get this little bit of dust off of here. Okay, so hitting this with a hammer, that will open this up. There we go. So, took that off. So this is gonna be some more tin. Again, 16 cents a pound for that. And what I also love about even your newer style motors, there is still going to be clean aluminum in here. So this is right now, this aluminum going for 45 cents a pound. This is sheet aluminum. Okay, so got to get this bolt out before I start playing around. But just going to hold the motor. There we go, twist it off. Just gonna slide off of here. So it's not a lot of aluminum, but it does add up. I have a nice big bag of it. Okay, so again, aluminum inside, couple pieces of tin shell. I do have to go ahead and remove, there's some screws here. That will release this winding. Gotta make sure I have the right screwdriver attachment, head attachment. So there we go. And sometimes your arms, if you will, not sure on the technical word, but when you get your motors, you do want to check these pieces. This is actually plastic, but I have found a lot of these are brass ends. So you do want to make sure you check anytime you have a motor. I do have a couple actually just off to the side. I'm going to show you in a second, but very nice copper motor that I have here, and looking forward to being able to weigh this afterwards. Probably not going to do the whole breakdown because I do have full breakdown videos on different vacuum cleaner motors as well as other motors, but I do want to show just the core there it is. So inside, just gonna cut this. You can actually see right there, there is brass there. So inside that, this is a little piece of ferrite. Pop that out. It's gonna have a spring, little tail of copper inside. But that is yellow brass in here. I do have to pop off that plastic. So again, $3.17 a pound for this. Same as your coated brass. It all goes together. Okay, I'm gonna just put that off to the side. I do have a few bolts. Where are they? There. Inside, you can see that will release my inner core. I'll pop this off. And again, there's a beautiful armature that I have there as well. There you go, 2 bolts. Make sure you get those screws out there, because if you don't, it's not gonna fall off. The outside of this is actually, this is gonna be zinc cast. So right now, this part that I'm touching, zinc cast going for 45 cents a pound in London, Ontario. All of your inner motors that have the casing on it, easy way to tell, zinc cast. It almost looks like if I had a puddle and I put a drop of oil in it. Sometimes you'll get that rainbow effect. But someone asked me that about how do I tell the difference between cast and zinc. So that's one way. This, I'm just going to leave the plastic right on. Another piece of tin on here. Don't even have to take it off, but it is bolted. So just kind of adds to my weight. My armature here, this armature again, number 2 copper. I'm not going to open this here on camera, but I do have full breakdowns on armatures, how to remove that copper, not only from easy ones, but I have a separate video on stubborn ones because they can be stubborn, but that is again some number 2 copper. And last thing, all I have to do for this motor is just take 2 incisions. I'm going to cut down one side here, one side there, flip it over, and then pop it out. So I'm going to do that right now. And other than that, that's it for this vacuum cleaner. So again, very easy to do, but you know, it does all add up. And I know, as mentioned, going to have someone say that you could have probably sold this vacuum cleaner online for $100 or what have you. But again, it was beyond repair, and I'm just glad to see as much of it diverted from the landfill as possible. So just going to open this motor up for you, cut it. Okay, so the sparks obviously did not come from the copper. They came from the tin, just showing me or telling me that I have gone through it. Now I'm just going to feed it through. Just take my pry bar and use leverage. So pulling this up, where is my pry bar? There it is. I'm going to put it right under. There we go. Slides right out. So there's one number 2 copper, a little bit of brass on there. Got to make sure I pull off this wire, but there's one, and here is my other one. There we go. So very easy to do. Got that copper out of there. I have a nice armature, some aluminum, some nice brass on here, a beautiful appliance wire, some really nice tin on the shaft. Unfortunately, some plastic here, but at least getting something is better than nothing away from the landfill. Both of these models going to be the same, you know, so great items for sure. Great find for me, being able to find those, at least get some scrap before they were picked up by the garbage man. Again, hope you enjoyed that. Please comment down below, like, share, subscribe, and I'll catch you on the next one. Tin Man out.